Welcome. I am so excited and grateful that you are here. Oh, I can feel my heart starting to beat even more, pumping life through my body, just getting excited to be here with you today. We are in for a treat. In this episode, we get to hear from the incredible Carrie Drinkwine. If you are not familiar with her work, she is the founder of the Institute of Regenerative Health and the owner of Wise Wellness Clinic. She has been featured in countless ways: LA Weekly, Chicago Weekly, Business Insider. I could go on and on about the incredible transformative work that she puts out into the world. She is also a highly sought after success and freedom coach. In her own life, she reversed 3 chronic autoimmune conditions and overcame unexplained infertility through the power of regenerative detoxification and mindset work. And she has gone on to help countless people heal and find new life in their lives, and currently certifying people to become regenerative health practitioners themselves and find more abundance and life in their lives. This really just means a lot to me to have her here. She has changed my life in so many ways. If you know me and my story, I had many unexplained autoimmune like symptoms and extreme hormonal imbalances. And I moved through the Institute of Regenerative Health and became certified. And I was introduced to a level of health and vibrancy that I sincerely did not know existed, along with more emotional freedom, and was introduced to a deeper level of sincere joy from within the core of my being through the work that I've done alongside Carrie. And just witnessing so many others in my class and those that do learn from her and engage in her work and practices, I see them come more alive and have more life in themselves. And it truly opened my eyes even more to, wow, what if we are really called to participate in the renewal of heaven on this earth in the here and now? What if we are? And her work gives me hope that that is actually possible. In this episode, we dive into the root cause of hormonal imbalances, autoimmune conditions, how what we consume, food being one thing, impacts our consciousness on a scientific level. And we also talk about ways to figure out what our life purpose is and how to align with it on a deep core soul level. And if you know Carrie, you know that she's constantly learning and has a finger on the pulse of the coolest and most transformative ways of upleveling our health. And so I was so excited to ask her what her favorite thing is that she's learning right now. And I have to tell you, I was not expecting her to say what she said. So I'm so excited for you to hear her. And so I just have to say, one of the reasons I started the Jesus Energy Project is for those of us that long to get spiritually curious while also focusing on the original mission of Jesus. And the work of regenerative health and Carrie Drinkwine certainly brings about more healing, heart level transformation, and life to this earth. And that feels like Jesus to me. I am so excited for you to hear the genius that is Carrie. I pray that it instills a little bit more of hope for transformation that you know you are built for, and more life in our day. Let's do this. Yay, we're here with the incredible Carrie Drinkwine. Carrie is an absolute powerhouse of a healer and just source of good and healing in this world. She has been an incredible teacher, mentor, and friend to me over the years. And my goodness, just in preparing for today, I just kept hearing the word hope. Carrie is such a tangible source of hope in this world for people that aren't feeling well in their body and want to feel better, want to find healing, and want to feel more like their true self. Carrie is just a source of hope, actually offering tangible practices and ways to come alive in the here and now. She's an absolute genius, the way that, you'll hear her. She's just a genius. But you, Carrie, you've helped countless people, thousands, probably immeasurable at this point, heal and recover from disease in the body, from autoimmune to hormonal imbalances to just feeling more alive. And yeah, you changed my life. You helped me come alive and change the way I show up for my family and in my home and feel in my body. So from the depths of my heart, I just thank you and thank you for being you in this world, and would love to simply begin from your voice, your mission, and any part of your story that you care to share with us.
You're going to start me off crying, Kate. Well, thank you so much for having me, and it's an honor. And I love that you said hope, because I remember that is what I was lacking in my whole journey up until, it was oddly enough, up until I was diagnosed with 3 chronic autoimmune conditions. And I remember in that moment, it was almost like this spark of God within me that was like, this will not be my reality. And I had felt hopeless for so long because I couldn't figure out, why do I feel this way? Why am I having all these symptoms? I was crazy swollen. I had rashes all over my body. I could barely walk. My feet felt like glass. I would black out. I was lightheaded, squatting to standing. I would close my eyes every time I was at a stoplight. Like, how dangerous, right? I had just chronic fatigue. I couldn't keep my head up. I felt like I couldn't take care of my kids. And all the doctors kept telling me that everything was normal, that it was in my head, and that maybe I should be on some sort of psychiatric drugs.
Mm,
And I was like, this is not in my head. And
yeah.
so when I was actually finally diagnosed with 3 chronic autoimmune diseases, which I tell people now, don't be dazzled by the diagnosis, just do the dang detox, right? When I was diagnosed with that, it was almost like a hope in a way, because it was like, now I understand. Now I understand why I was feeling, why I kept saying something's wrong. You need to find what's wrong. But there was this inner wisdom that came into me that was like, this is not going to be the trajectory for me. And I remember asking my doctor, how does this happen? And she said, well, we don't know, but if you just take these medications, you'll live a relatively normal but shorter life. And that was just like your casual Tuesday, sort of like, have a good day, nice to see you. And I was
Right.
just kind of like in shock. But it
Mm,
was in those deep moments that I really felt the activation of inner wisdom.
wow.
And I remember sitting in the car between angry, confused, sad, crying, like, how am I going to tell my family this? Like, all the emotions happening at once. And then I just had this internal voice say, if this can happen, you can unwind it.
Wow.
And I just felt it in every part of my being. And I get emotional. I say that because I still remember sitting in the parking lot
Yeah.
in my car, tears streaming down my face, going, this is it for me. I'm 30 years old. And it was like, yes, I can unwind this. I don't know how. Right? I don't know how, but I'm going to. And it was in that moment of decision that
Wow.
really put me on the trajectory of finding how to heal my body. And so I'm forever grateful for my illness, because I turned that poison into medicine. And I believe that we are handed these gifts so that we can be, we're not victim, we're victors. We all heard that. But I believe we're handed these gifts because we are the voice of change, because we are being taught and shown where we are physically and emotionally and energetically out of balance. And I believe that dis-ease is an expression of physical and emotional imbalance.
Wow. I just get goosebumps. And just hearing you talk for this little bit, I'm reminded like how much I love being around you and how much your mindset just lights up my being.
Thank you.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because the first times that I was around you was actually when you were teaching yoga. And I remember your classes were obviously awesome, but I remember just wanting to like be around you and take your class to like soak up your fierceness and soak up your passion. I just thought you were so cool. And so then when a friend asked me to one of your courses, I was like, yeah, I'm going. That sounds awesome. And that was the first time that I heard you say that suffering is optional. And I remember, just being honest here, something in me almost like reject that
Yeah.
and stiff arm that. But then you kept talking and you shared your story, and your hope and presence just filled the room, and something in me softened. And I could ask myself, like, do I not want to thrive? Do I want to suffer? What was that response in me? So, how and why do you believe suffering is optional, and how do you live that out?
Yeah, it's a really actually I found a really triggering statement for many, and
Mm,
it was never intended to be. I
mm,
really just saw it that way. I saw it through the lens of we choose our joy or we choose our pain. And what we focus on grows. And so, I really saw it as I can choose to, woe is me. I have three autoimmune diseases. I'm 30 years old. I have three kids. They're going to have no mom. Wah, wah, wah. Like I'm going to suffer in this body that's ridden with pain. And that is what I will grow and create. That is what I'm planting the seeds of. That is what I'm tilling the ground with. That is what I'm watering with, right? I'm watering with my own wallow. And so yeah, there are, it sounds sometimes harsh because there's people that are born into such extreme circumstances. There are people that are born with dis-ease, as I call it. And I believe that our souls asked and knew completely what we were coming in for and what we were coming in to be and what we were coming in to experience. And it is in that understanding that we can choose to come in, learn the lessons, transform the stories, change the vibrations, and find the beauty in all of it. Because the fact that we breathe is beautiful,
mm.
right? The fact that we exist is our true miraculous nature, whether that's in a dis-ease state. It's simply telling you that there's physical and energetic imbalances, and we're here to find the gold and the silver lining in all of it. And so that's why I believe suffering is optional. Doesn't mean that everyone can, if they all detox, they're going to never have disease or pain or sadness. That's not real. We are in this world to experience the full spectrum of emotions. That we're here to experience deep sadness, deep grief, ultimate joy, love, expansion, contraction. We're here for all of it. But it is a choice to stay in a constant state and mind state of suffering.
Yes. What do you think, when you said you heard that voice, what do you think it was in you that fueled you to follow that and keep going?
Big question. I think, God speaks through us, what a creator, universe, whatever you want to say, but I
Yeah.
believe that we are all divinely connected and we are entangled with the quantum.
Yeah.
And so although this might be kind of out there speak, when you look at cellular biology, we can talk quantum biology for a second. We look at a cell and we see something like quantum tunneling happening. It's the easiest example I can give is how does this phone go through this water bottle? It physically can't. But under a microscope, we see tunneling just like that happening. It's this quantum phenomena. It's a process that we're like, how is this even happening? And that's how much the quantum field is impacting our body.
Wow.
So we see these miraculous processes happening in our body that science cannot explain. And that's how much more we are. So I really believe that it's what we're entangled with in the quantum. It's part of us. I believe that, it's God, it's us in another realm coming in that wisdom saying, nope, this is what you're here for. This is what you're designed for. I believe it's our soul finding its own truth and just being reminded in those moments.
That's so, so beautiful. I just gives me like tingles in my head hearing you talk. So many people aren't feeling well, don't feel well in their body.
Yeah.
Taking your class, I truly believe as many classes as we can take of yours, totally recommend it. Life changing. I thought I was healthy. And then I went through the Institute of Regenerative Health and was introduced to a whole new level of vibrancy in my body. So, aside from that, what are like two small things that we can do, like even today or this week, to feel more alive?
Eat living food.
Mm.
That's the
Yep.
first thing you can do. If you
Yep.
want to feel alive, eat foods that are
Yes.
so vibrant, whole foods, fruits, berries, melons, green juices, salad, right? Living, organic, chemical free food dripping from nature, right? This is, I say it is the God's design, right? It's nature's design to electrify your body. And that's one of my viewpoints is the body is electric.
Mm.
And we are more electric than we are chemical, but we're also focused on the chemical view. But our cells are electric and they need to maintain a negative 70 millivolt charge in order to be well. And when we get to negative 30, we have uncontrolled cell division. And so this has nothing to do with how much protein you have, how much any of it. It has everything to do with is your cell deficient? So eating foods that are highly electric. And we'll get more into that later, but that would be eat more living foods. Number one, eat organic, eat more living foods. And number two, go outside barefoot. Get the morning sunlight in your eyes if you can. The morning sunlight is your cup of joe. The moment your brain and your eyes see and receive the infrared spectrum of light, the red light and the blue light, your melatonin immediately starts to drop. So you get rid of that groggy feeling in the morning and your
Wow.
mitochondria starts to activate. And that is your morning cup of joe. You are designed to not need that cup of coffee in the morning. You're designed to go outside in nature and tell your body it's daytime. So getting sunshine and bare feet on the earth, ground your body and eat living foods, those two very, very simple things will start to transform your whole life.
Amazing. Okay, so you talked about eating living foods. So how can looking at food through the lens of energy impact our health? That's one of the biggest things, biggest takeaways from you that I just love. It just changed my life and getting away from macros, protein, which just stresses everybody out. How can looking at it through an energetic lens impact us?
Good
Cellular.
question. So look at foods and their electrical capability and their enzyme levels, essentially. So when we have a food that's alive, it is because it's come from the earth. It's living, right? It's loaded with enzymes, with antioxidants, with polyphenols, with carotenoids, with vitamins, minerals, nutrients. Like it's loaded with its earth's medicine in a way. And when we consume those foods, they are you can actually measure angstroms of energy in food. And so the average human needs to be around 6,500 angstroms of energy. So this is, just kind of average for us to operate, talk, smile, walk. When we start to get below that threshold, this is chronic illness. And then we have cancer and we start to see it's all about energy, but not like woo-woo energy. We're literally talking millivolt energy, like I just mentioned. So fruits actually vibrate at the highest angstrom of energy of any food on the planet. And so we have to understand that plant herbs, and fruits are the two highest vibrational foods on the planet. And what that means in a couple of ways. You can measure angstroms of energy or you can measure biophotons of light. And we actually are filled with 35 to 75 trillion cells, and all of those cells emit little bits of light. They have a very weak biophoton emission. And when you multiply that weak biophoton emission by 35 to 50 to 75 trillion cells, depending on your weight and body size, you have a 9-volt battery, right? We are a walking battery. And so when we look at food from the lens of how much voltage can this give my cells instead of how much protein, how many carbohydrates, does this have sugar, we completely transform our health because everybody's walking around slamming protein, processed protein bars. These foods are dead. They're not alive. And when foods are not alive, they don't have what's called enzymes in them. And enzymes are a huge, massively important part of life. You can't mimic this by just taking a false enzyme. An enzyme is what is alive in the food, and it's actually the precursor to every single cellular function in your body. Enzymes are the worker bees of the body. They are the pre-catalyst to the mitochondria working. They are what carry all the heavy lifting and help detox waste. And you need enzymes to digest, to utilize, and to absorb your nutrients. So when we eat all processed foods, these are enzyme depleted. They don't have any enzymes. They don't have any life in them, meaning they don't have living water running through them, because fruits and vegetables have Earth's water that's charged by the magnetic field of the Earth. The
Cool.
ions and the minerals that are coming from the Earth are coming
Yes.
into the fruit. One of my sayings is eat your water.
Yes.
Right? Eat your water.
I say that to my kids
Watermelon.
now.
Yeah. And I drink water too. I absolutely do. But eat your water. And I drink living water, water that has moved through the earth, been charged by the earth, been cleaned by the earth, structured by the earth. And so when we look at it from that lens is how is this going to charge my cells? We would understand the lens of living food should be our primal foods. Doesn't mean you're perfect and you don't ever eat a gluten-free cracker or whatever. You go out and have X, Y, or Z. We have to have balance and joy in our lives. We are out of balance
Yes.
and we are eating 100% dead foods, highly acidic foods. And when we eat foods that are really acidic and processed and a heavy animal-based diet, these are dead foods. They are not alive. I mean, death, how can eating 100% death equal life? Just think about it in a common sense way. And there's so much going on in this carnivore world and the keto world. And unfortunately, my clinic deals with the recovery of those people,
Yeah.
helping them recover from IBS, colon cancer, all these different things that have come about, advanced cellular aging, autoimmunity. And it's because you're completely out of balance. We cannot eat unliving foods. We have to look at it from the electric potential of food, and we are electric.
Electric potential of food. I love that. That's amazing. What do you think people are still getting wrong in their fear of fruit? Like I still hear people say like, oh, I'm afraid I can't wake up and just have fruit. It'll spike my blood sugar or, whatever. What are we getting wrong there?
Well, mass social programming has created this fear, right? Like for our generation, we thought breakfast was the most important meal of the day for how long? Forever. Why? Why did we think that? Because of cereal companies that were marketing at us on the billboards, right? So it's really just like enough people saying the wrong information has become
Yeah.
a belief of many.
Yeah.
And the fear is that fruit will make you fat, is that fruit is sugar. Fruit is sugar, sugar is sugar. It's all the same. It's all sugar. And that couldn't be more incorrect scientifically and common sense wise. So if we actually break down the science and understand when the blood sugar is spiking because you had the banana, let's give that example. And this really derived from the diabetes community. When
Yeah.
we started to monitor blood sugar, then somebody would eat a banana and they would see their blood glucose rise, right? And they'd say, oh my God, the banana's bad. Don't eat bananas. Avoid bananas. That is not the root cause. The banana is not the reason your blood sugar spiked. The banana has fructose in it, and this will be converted in the liver into glucose, okay? If your liver, by the way, when you have glucose, it needs to attach to insulin, and then it needs to travel to the liver and go inside the tissues for energy. When we have too much fat on the liver or buildup on the liver or in the tissues, we become insulin resistant, and then we have glucose imbalance. So when we clean the liver, we clean the tissues, we repair the glands and organs. That's the root. The root of your high blood sugar is not your banana. It is your liver.
Mhm.
So when we repair the liver and we repair the metabolic function in the body, we repair the problem. And that's really what it comes down to. So many people are just brainwashed. They think, sugar is sugar is sugar and we need protein. And I've never had one single patient in 10 years ever be protein deficient. Ever.
Wow. Really?
Never. It's
Yeah.
not a thing. It's,
Yeah.
it's literally not a thing.
Isn't that funny?
No, because there's enough protein. Protein is amino acids. So
Yeah.
protein structure is many amino acids linked together to make a protein. So you can give it the straight amino acids, which 9 essential amino acids are given to us from our plants. That means essential meaning coming from food. It's the only place they come from. It has to come from our food. So when we eat those straight amino acids, the body can quickly organize those amino acids into a protein structure and make it a building block. When we eat animal-based protein, the body has to deconstruct that protein into usable amino acids, then rearrange it, then make it a protein that it can actually use. And not to mention the high energetic output that's happening. So because we aren't set up like a carnivore, and those that think we are, it's silly because we don't have claws, we don't have fangs, we don't have acidic saliva, we don't have acidic guts like they do. We have an acid-based gut of 2.4 pH, but they have a ton of hydrochloric acid. We have a low amount. We have really long colons, like 36 feet. They have 4 feet, 4 to 6. And that's to prevent from putrefaction and rotting of the animal tissue. And they sleep 20 out of 24 hours. So if we want to feel like a carnivore and have to sleep all day, and carnivores don't
Yeah.
have energy. Are there carnivores in nature? Yes, there are carnivore species. We aren't one of them. And so when we are eating like a carnivore and we have the makeup of a frugivore of that primate species, we're completely bringing in the wrong chemistry to the body, and it's taking our body every resource it has to disassemble, break down, digest the animal tissue, turn it into usable nutrients, and then try to give you some sort of energy left over. And, I know people love their meat, and that's okay. I love everybody and what they choose to eat, but we have to admit that when we have a smoothie bowl, we feel ready to go for the day. And when we have steak and eggs and toast, we want a cup of coffee because we're tired,
Right.
right? And that's
Yes.
because you have caused more fatigue than fuel for the body.
So with that in mind, how does what we eat, what we consume, impact our consciousness?
I love this question. So I think in a very large way. For me personally, I think that when we eat live, raw, living foods, these are rich in biophotons. It's light energy. So you're literally raising your internal vibration. You are a byproduct of your internal vibration. So if you have low light in the body because you're not eating any biophotonic rich food and your body's overwhelmed and your body's feeling exhausted, you're not going to feel well. And it's really hard to be your best self.
Yeah.
And it's also really hard to be in this expansive consciousness state. So I believe like the higher you eat from the ground, I always say the higher you eat from the ground, the longer you stay out of the ground. But those living foods are actually expanding consciousness in a way that I can't even explain. Like right now, I'm on a fruit fast. And I will tell you, the depth of my meditations are so much
Wow.
deeper. My level of peace is so much better. I have ideas dropping in all over the place because I'm clear. My vessel is clear.
Wow.
And I think that obstruction in the physical creates obstruction in the mental, emotional. So
Yes.
yeah, so I look at it that way. So when we're eating a heavily processed, dead, toxic food diet, that's a very low frequency diet. How can you have high frequency thoughts when you're in a low frequency body? And so this will create emotional stagnation, disconnection, lower states of awareness. And there is scientific evidence of food and frequency of fresh, raw, living foods actually emit a bioelectric energy that can be measured by Kirlian photography. We can see
So
the
cool.
apple glow, right?
Wow.
The fruits and vegetables glow. They have biophotonic light glowing around them. And so this is upregulating our mitochondrial production. It's upregulating our internal light, which to me, when we have light within, we're able to feel that light body that is
Wow.
in and around us.
Yes.
So I just feel that if we consume life, we become life. And if
Beautiful.
we consume stagnation, we become stagnation.
Yes. And you've mentioned cleansing the body, clearing the body, and that's something that your clinic will walk people through. Practitioners will walk people through cleansing and clearing the body. So what is that process like, and how can clearing and cleansing the physical body help us clear and cleanse our emotions?
Great question. So our process is unique to each person. So each individual, what their goals are, what they're dealing with. But we generally say 3 to 5 months. We would like you to walk in. We do a prep month. If you're actually coming to the clinic, we do an integration preparation month. We really prepare you for the cleanse so that your body has a very gentle process. Then we sit in about 3 months in the cleaning process, detoxification through food, herbalism, different modalities, light therapy, different things that are going to really enhance your cells to repair themselves quickly. We want to hit the gas pedal for you. So we're bringing as much electrical conductivity and as much antioxidant properties into the body. So our philosophy here at Wise Wellness Clinic is charge the cell, clean the cell, and repair the communication.
Amazing.
And I need to charge the cell before I clean the cell, which is why I have an integration month of charging you up, because if your body's cellular energy or voltage is too low, it won't be able to detoxify well. And your body won't have enough energy or life force for that. So that's how we work. Charge the cell, clean the cell, repair the communication. And we bring people through really holistic, organic, and plant-based protocols temporarily to clean the terrain, We bring in herbalism, we bring in communicating molecules that help repair your redox signaling and downregulate your oxidative stress. And we work with like a physical protocol. But we also really like to bring awareness to the emotional and the energetic components of illness. And that's one of the new sections inside the Institute of Regenerative Health is the energetic anatomy of illness.
Well,
And so many people don't realize that two things. One, if you're physically ill, it can be fully physical. Absolutely. You could have been exposed to a level 9 carcinogen and it took your body down, or you breathed something in that was bad, or you got a really crazy virus that's impacting you. But we always say the body should be able to handle these things if the terrain is in the right place and if the energy body is in the right place. So we work on the physical, but through working on the physical, we end up working on the emotional and the energetic. And here's why. We are actually about 95% energy and only 5% matter, which when you think about it is wild,
yeah,
right? It's like, why are we spend all of our money, time, and energy on the physical, which only makes up 5% of what and who we are. So if somebody said, 95% of your time should be spent, doing the work, and you were like, I'm going to spend 5%, like you would get an opposite result. We're spending all of our energy on a 5% of our reality. And so knowing that we're 95% energy, which means how many of you have had a breakup or a job loss or, whatever it is, and you feel physically ill? And you're like, I'm so stressed, I can't think, I can't eat, I can't sleep, right? And this is because your
so true.
biography, what's running through your head,
Yep,
has become your biology.
yep.
And so
Wow.
we are impacting our biology at a cellular level through the emotions that we don't want to process. And so many of us don't realize we're carrying so much on our shoulders. We're women, we're mothers, we're wives, we're working, we're doing all these things. And it's a lot of hats to carry. And are we allowing ourselves to cry? Are we allowing ourselves to feel the grief of failure? Are we allowing ourselves to also celebrate ourselves and have time to embrace and embody all of the emotions that we've lived through as women, as mothers, and men out there too? I think men are even more crippled in this area because we teach men to grow up and suck it up and be a man, and we tell them that it's not okay to feel. And so what we see, and I know this is a little bit long-winded, but what we see is these emotional imbalances start to impact the physical body. And yes, what you eat, drink, breathe, and put on your skin is very important, but I almost look at it like this is the straw that's breaking the camel's back, is what we're eating, drinking, breathing, putting on the skin. And then we're putting all the attention and the blame on this. But it actually might have been anger, resentment, and frustration that was unprocessed that made the liver go down. And then on top of it, we ate really bad foods and then that impacted us. So this goes two ways, Kate, if I can explain it in this way. It's like, you've heard of an angry drunk, right? We know the liver is anger, resentment, frustration builds up like, I'm so frustrated. That, and you'll be like, it's the weirdest thing. He's the nicest person, but when he drinks, watch out. Well, this is why. A frustrated liver, when a liver is overwhelmed, can actually generate the emotion of anger.
Wow.
Yeah, so the organ that's out of balance because the cells feel disabled or incapable of performing their tasks.
Yeah.
All of our organs hold certain emotions. So the liver can actually, in a frustrated state, generate frustration because the liver's physically frustrated. And then vice versa. Frustration, unprocessed, and anger will impact the liver's function.
Yes.
So we are both energy and matter, and we have to address energy and matter if we actually want to heal. So liver, gallbladders, anger, resentment, frustration. The lungs are grief, sadness, feelings of loss, survival. I'm not doing well. I'm not surviving. You can get like a lung infection, right?
Yes.
Colon, what am I not letting go of? When you have constipation, holding on to past trauma. Kidneys are related to anxiety and fear and stress and can be lack of forgiveness. And lymphatic system is emotional congestion,
Yeah.
indecision,
Wow.
apathy,
Yeah.
overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
So when we bring people through these physical detoxes, they end up getting, having an emotional journey. And they're like, today, they're like, I feel amazing, but I'm like crying today. Why is that happening? And I always say, it's always better out than in.
Yep.
And your body is literally energy and matter. So you're getting rid
Yes.
of toxins and you're getting rid of emotions that are ready to be released.
That was some of the best advice I remember, or it just was very impactful for me to when you recommended that we have space, you know, every once in a while to go and process emotions, just scream, cry in the shower or journal, let it out, go for a walk, and to kind of build that in to the cleansing process because it was true. Things would just all of a sudden rise to the surface, and I would have rage, anger that needed to come out.
Mhm.
And then I felt so much better. So, what
And we
do you
taught as
think?
women to
Yeah,
never feel
yeah,
that.
yeah, right.
Like, you're crazy. You shouldn't feel that.
Yeah,
Push that down. Women, I'm telling you, on your cycle, this is when, like, I'm a little extra emotional because I'm on the end of my cycle today.
yeah.
But in people are like, oh, she's emotional, she's on her cycle. No, that is actually your time to purge.
Wow.
Your body's intentional way. We're cyclical beings, and we have to understand that our cycles are an intentional reminder and almost a forced way to allow ourselves to process the emotions we've suffered all
Yes.
month.
Okay, honestly, that totally shifted my perspective around my cycle because I think I've had this like subconscious shame around the excess emotion that I feel sometimes in my
Oh,
cycle.
it's on
But
purpose. It's
no,
all the built up
it
emotion
is the built
your
up.
body's been storing all month. And the shift in our hormones says, I'm ready. I'm asking you to deal with me now, to let it
Yes.
flow. And
Yes.
think about it. We're flowing in our
Wow.
cycle and we're
Wow.
flowing in our emotions.
Wow.
And so instead of like shaming women around this, like I said to my husband today, I'm actually getting on a flight to Dubai. I was like, not the greatest day because I feel like I actually just need to cry all day.
Yeah.
And he's like, why? I'm like, I just feel the release needs to happen.
Yep.
And it's not that anything's wrong, it's that I have been holding so much. I'm in a
Yeah.
huge redesign of our institute. I'm building multiple programs. I'm speaking on stages all over the world. I'm
Yep.
raising tiny babies. It's just a lot to hold.
Yes.
And today I was like, I feel like I'm going to cry today. And that's what we have to embrace and embody is our body is in a flow state. It's purging what we've not used up or what we've not processed for the month. And that's physical and it's emotional. Of course it will
Yes.
be.
Yes. That's so beautiful. What do you, when our hormones, I mean, I moved through PMDD and extreme hormone instability. What would you say is the most common root cause of like that extreme
Yeah.
hormonal response that so many of us experience?
The environment in our body.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
internal environment in our body is like if we're in an extremely acidic state,
Yeah.
then all of the reserves in your body are being used to balance you.
Yeah.
That's your minerals, that's your hormones, that's your cortisol. Everything is coming online saying maintain pH, maintain electrical voltage, maintain. Your body is on your side all the time. And we have to remember that every symptom that we get is a symptom of a system that is trying to maintain balance.
Wow.
And the body is like your headache, a symptom of brain inflammation. The body is trying to swell to prevent whatever is in its area that wasn't good for it.
Yep.
Right. And so we sit and look at our body's systems or symptoms as like, oh, why does my body hate me? Your body loves you so much that it is
Yes.
gifting you this view that you are out of balance. And so when it really comes down to it, the environment, we're eating too much acidic food, too much processed food, and or maybe just the wrong foods for our body. The other thing is gut injury, huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gut injury, gut dysbiosis, our whole entire HPA, HPT axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, the entire endocrine system is run from your gut. 9 out of 10 signals go up to your brain, 1 of 10 goes down. This is how important the gut is. So the gut health being having leaky gut, nervous system disruption, your neurotransmitters are all made in your gut. These are all really, really big things to understand. So gut health, overall lymphatic health, and your endocrine health. But mostly it's the adrenals being you're overstressed, you're overtired, you started a cortisol surge, which started a hormonal imbalance storm. And then the last thing I'll speak to is you said PMDD. And, when we have postpartum depression and all of these different things, I call it postpartum depletion. And it's really what it is. It's we are demineralized already because our body has to double its blood and build a whole human, and it's borrowing all of our resources. And during pregnancy, women think, I can eat whatever I want, I'm pregnant. It's actually the worst time to eat whatever you want. You are stealing from your baby and you're stealing from yourself. Because when you're eating all those toxic donuts, the body is just leaching minerals from you. It's leaching minerals from your bones, from your nervous system. And a lot of people don't realize that calcium depletion is one of the main causes of depression. And so when we're postpartum, we've already given away way more calcium than we normally would have. And then we ate probably like ice cream and cookies and pizza, right? And so our body's just leaching, leaching, leaching. And then the baby's born. And then we have to build it with our breast, right? Our breast milk. And then we wonder why we have depression. We are so minerally depleted. We are so, our guts are damaged. Most women go through antibiotics and lots of pharmaceutical intervention in their birth process. And then we wipe out the gut microbiome. It takes 6 months and up to 5 years to repair after one single antibiotic use, by the way. And then we wonder why we have PMDD. I don't, but we're not teaching our women how to be well.
Yes.
And we aren't studying wellness. We're studying illness.
Yeah.
And that's the problem.
So why on a scientific level did I feel like a new person after letting go of sugar from my diet? Thankfully, I mean, we moved through epilepsy in our home, and that was what invited me to, in solidarity with my child, to let go of sugar because of the impact that can have on the brain. And when I did, I felt like I had a new brain. You know, just when people say like I want to treat myself, to me it is like the ultimate disservice to my body, and I feel awful. I feel like I can't move, can't think, can hardly function. Why does that have such a big impact to sugar in general? Yeah.
I love this question. And it in sugar, not like sugar from fruits or from regular whole foods, but sugar is influencing everything. So sugar is highly processed and it's unnatural. And it's like this huge stimulant that skyrockets your adrenals to the moon and then crashes you down. So refined and processed sugars is the sugars that I'm talking about, but this disrupts our body's metabolic, our hormonal system, our immune system, and our nervous system are all impacted by sugar. And the reason is sugar actually damages cells through a process called glycation.
Wow.
And what we have is excess sugars, and refined sugars will bind to proteins and fats in the body and cause what's called advanced glycation end products, or ages, which is interesting because sugar does age you. And it weakens collagen, it weakens elastin, which means we're depleting.
I don't want that.
No, we don't want that.
No.
And for us, I mean, both you and me, Kate, are like very raw, natural women in our 40s. I think you're in your 40s, are you?
Almost.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'm well into my 40s and multiple children. I'm all natural. I don't do any injections. And I don't have wrinkles and things like that, you know, very, very minimal, very aged ones because of the way that I live. So sugar is organ aging. It weakens, like if you're weakening collagen, elastin, it's not just your skin. We have to remember our nervous system is a living, breathing tissue. It's an actual tissue that if there's obstruction or weakness, it will not work well. So all of our organs are made of these tissues. So it causes inflammation. It causes stiff arteries. It causes joint pain. There's so much that the sugar gives you a quick high because your adrenals actually have to produce cortisol in order to process and metabolize the sugar.
And
So
how
you
is
get
that connected? Okay, sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, that's okay. So you get this huge cortisol spike in order to process the sugar, and then that also spikes your insulin. And then after this whole everything's resolved, the adrenals are exhausted, so you go through the crash. And so you get fatigue, brain fog, mood swings, and over time you can cause things like insulin resistance and metabolic disorders. So go ahead, Kate.
It just made me think of the anxiety like epidemic. How
100%.
how was like that connected?
I think that sugar is deeply connected to caffeine and sugar.
Okay.
Caffeine and sugar. Honestly, it's the things that are spiking the adrenals to the moon and then crashing them down. And, you know, anxiety is multifaceted. A tired adrenal gland, somebody that's gone through a lot of trauma, will be more anxious, and not just because of their lived experience, but also because of the damage that has happened to the adrenal glands from living in a fight or flight state. But we are literally physically putting our body into a fight or flight state through some of the foods that we eat. And we're having a bowl of rice and the body's like, oh, time to surge cortisol like I'm running from a tiger. Why starch and sugar is so addictive, because we're
Yep.
getting this steroid rush in the body.
Yes.
So these anxiousness that we're having is nothing more than on the physical level.
Yep.
It is nothing more than depleted adrenal glands and gut injury. Those are the primal foundation of anxiety, depression, and
Yep.
all of that. And then on an energetic and emotional level, we can look at anxiety as fear consciousness, feeling unsafe, feeling unsupported, and unstable. And then depression, I always say, is soul suppression. Like the soul isn't alive or feeling nourished or fed, or like it can
Yeah.
be in its power, its creativity. So
Yeah.
we see this when people are in the wrong jobs,
Yes.
right? When they're not in their passion. We've all seen someone in their passion. I'm in my passion, right?
Yes.
And when they're not, it just sucks their soul out. So there's
Yes.
physical and emotional reasons for that. And I think, food is our medicine or our poison. And I also think the way that we live in society is constant stimulation. The phone
Yes.
is dinging, the Instagram notifications, the constant scrolling, the video games, the consumption, everything we're doing is shooting our adrenals to the moon over and over and over. And then we wonder why we're exhausted and need stimulants to be even curious about anything in life. People are just not excited about life anymore. They're just like, I've seen that, right?
So for someone, you mentioned living in our purpose, living in our passion. For someone that says like, that sounds great, but how do I figure out what my purpose is? I would love to live in my purpose, but has a lack of clarity around that. What
Yes.
could you like direct them to get in alignment with their purpose?
Okay, this is a big question because so many people look for their purpose. And
Mm-hmm.
I believe purpose isn't something that you can find.
Yeah.
It's something that you uncover.
Yeah.
And you do it by aligning with your highest energy and intuition. Your purpose will come through when you're either in the lowest or the highest expression of yourself. And it really is what your soul is signed up to experience in this lifetime. I believe that I came in to uncover my purpose, to find my power, to heal myself so I could share this medicine with the world. So look at your life and what have you gone through that you have felt defeated by. That might be your purpose, to triumph through that, to find your power. But if that's not it, if you feel like, no, I haven't really gone through anything major, I just don't know what I'm supposed to do, it's because we're so externally stimulated all the time. We're looking at everyone else for guidance and we've forgotten who we are. We don't even know
Yeah.
who we are.
So true.
And everybody's like, oh, am I supposed to be a doctor? Am I supposed to be this? Am I supposed to be that? Like, only you know who you are. And the
Yes.
only way to uncover that is by getting clear, getting a clear channel, meaning spending time in prayer or meditation, getting your highest level of intuition and energy online. And so I started this thing a long time ago when I was really walking through a really deep space in my life where I was like, why am I here? What is the purpose? What is the point of this all? My father had committed suicide and I lost twins really, really far into a pregnancy. And there was a point at which you can get a little bit emotional, but I didn't
Yeah.
want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
And it was from that place that I found my power, that I said, I walked in and I asked myself, like, as I walked in nature and I felt like the sun hit my skin and I felt this connection to God, creator, to this vastness, right? And I started to ask myself, okay, what is feeling heavy? What is draining me? What is restricting me?
Yes.
Right? I had to
Yes.
ask those
Yes.
questions
Yes.
first because
Yeah.
so that's my advice is if you're in a low space, you need to come from that low space. Okay, what is heavy right now?
Yep.
What is draining me? What
Yep.
is feeling restrictive? Identify that.
Yep.
And then move into, okay, what feels light? What
Yes.
feels expansive? And what feels energizing?
Yes.
Like, what is it? And I remember all of a sudden I had these glimpses of me just running around giggling as a little girl. And I realized that honestly, the whole thing I was missing in my life was playfulness. Like I wanted play. I was like a little girl inside. I just wanted play and light and joy. And I love when everybody is happy and free. And so I was like, my purpose is to help
Wow.
people find their freedom.
Yes, you do. Yes.
yeah, to find their expansive state, to find
Yes.
their freedom physically, to
Yes.
find their freedom emotionally, which is why
Yes.
I do regenerative health and I do freedom and success coaching for women
Yep.
to develop into who they are. That I believe that
Stunning.
when we act on the things that feel light, even in the
Yes.
smallest way,
Yep.
that is how we uncover our purpose. And I always say your purpose is not what you do, but it's what you bring to everything that you do.
Yes.
And so I guess maybe that's not great advice, but that's my advice is start to
It's
uncover
stunning. It's beautiful. So beautiful. Okay. Lastly, beautiful Carrie, I know that you're such a learner and always researching and just expanding your knowledge. What's the coolest thing that you're learning right now?
that. I'm learning a lot of cool things right now.
I bet you are.
I would say just really understanding sound.
I was not expecting you to say that.
Yeah, there's so much I'm studying, but there is so much going on. But how sound, we are all oscillations and wavelengths of sound, and how sound is one of your best healers,
Yes.
and how we shift our own internal vibration and frequency
Yes.
through sound healing.
So cool.
Yeah, I've actually, to be totally honest, know that I'm having a complete career redirect in the next 5 to 10 years. I see myself working with telepathic children.
Wow.
I know. So that just dropped. But I hear these children. I see
Yes.
them. I
Yes.
feel them. I've
Yes.
always said this, and I don't
Yes.
know if you remember this inside the Institute, but when we talk about autism, and we're like, one in 6,000 children had autism in 1980, and now 1 in 36 children have it. I always believed that our autistic children were the most gifted children on the whole planet,
Yes.
that they were the light beings. And so
Yes.
my concept was, and I
Whoa.
kept
Wow.
putting it into words. My concept was that they are so high vibrational.
Yes.
They are so multidimensional. They can
Yes.
speak telepathically. They can hear, they can see, they can feel sound, they can see every dimension. But I believe that when they enter this earth, they're trying to integrate into a little bit lower vibration where they can communicate with us. And they're trying to bring us up to an alpha state.
Wow.
And if we can all come up to an alpha state and they can be here on an alpha state, we can all actually expand our consciousness and be the next future human, essentially. And so what I believe is that they've been injured by the pesticides, by the things that has made their body no longer work, but they are brilliant. And I've always believed that. I've always felt that. I worked with so
Yes.
many autistic kids when their mom's like, he's not in there. And I'm like, he's in there.
He's
He's
in
talking to
there.
me.
Yes.
Like, I would see in their eyes that they were, like, inside this body that wasn't cooperating with them,
Oh my
that
gosh. That
they
is so beautiful.
yeah, you made me cry. This is like I could see that they were in a body that wasn't working for them, but
Yeah.
that they were so brilliant and they were talking to me energetically and they would respond like if I would use sound bowls, they would calm. And yeah, sorry, we're having a cry fest over here. But I just think we're missing the boat here. We are totally coming at everything from a physical lens, and we are so multidimensional, so energetic, so telepathic when we tap into who we are. And so I'm really studying sound and telepathy, actually, is my biggest thing that's actually keeping my spirit really
Yes.
curious and alive.
Yes.
Like, yeah, I'm studying longevity supplements. I'm studying frequency. I'm studying, this new protein that's really cool. And that stuff is like cool and fascinating to me, but it doesn't invigorate my soul. It's like, that's cool. That's a great bioharmonizer. That's cool. That's a good way to increase longevity, but it doesn't ignite me like it does to understand our multi-dimensional presence and that we are such perfect creations from source. Yeah, like that when we understand sound and frequency and vibration and how words land and how they impact every cell in our body and every energy, everything we're doing is a ripple in the matrix. And when we see our profound impact in that way, we would all walk lighter, talk lighter, hug more, love more, trust more, live bigger, look at everyone as a divine, unique, perfect creation from God.
Most beautiful thing. Just taking that in. Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. The only thing I can respond to that with is I just love you I'm so grateful for you and am like honored that my life path crossed yours in this life. And this has just been such an honor and a gift to me. And I thank you for your time. And I just want to, I like feel silly
I'm
almost moving
crying.
to rapid fire questions like after that
No,
stunning
we can't. I
amazingness.
mean, whatever you feel
But
like is being in flow, right?
yeah, but I do love hearing them. It's so fun to hear from people. Just move through and you can just let whatever comes, comes. And yeah. So the first question is, when do you notice God's presence from within your body?
In my moments of stillness where I'm actually just quieting the mind and mostly in nature. Yeah. And it will be random sometimes too. It's when it's really a choice to quiet the mind, right? Like it's the moments where you're one moment you're in the shower and you just hear a drop of a voice come in or a trigger, or I'll have an idea. Like I was just back by the fridge in the clinic and I had this voice say, the next thing you need to do is this.
Wow.
And I was like, "Okay, okay." And I wrote it down. And so it does come in at these random moments, but it's when I ask for it, when I set my intention to be a clear channel and a clear vessel and to receive the intuition and the information that I'm meant to bring forth into the world. And so I would say the most of the time, it's like when I'm walking the beach in the morning or I'm, outside. But as long as I start my day seated in a quiet or lying in a quiet meditation saying, okay, God, creator, universe, open me and let me be a receiver of light and information. That's when it's when I don't start my day with that intention. I'm in the head, I'm in the mind. I'm like, why is this not working? I'm in the fit. I'm very fit. I'm very human at times. We all are. Right. And then it's when I step out of that human, how can I control this? How can I do this? How can I change this? And go, okay, what are you here to tell me today? And what is it that I'm supposed to be learning, seeing, or shifting? Those are the moments where I feel God the most within me.
What does faith mean to you?
I think faith for me is this internal knowing and cellular level of belief of the purpose in your existence.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and you can have faith in something, but it's the belief, right? Do you believe? And we always say seeing is believing. And I actually believe it's not. I believe that if you have to see, you don't have faith.
Yeah.
And that is the opposite of faith. So to me, faith is just the deep inner knowing and trusting that you are divinely put on this earth for a purpose and you're
Mm,
here on a journey to figure that out.
yes. That's stunning. And lastly, I love to end every episode with a simple invitation to healing, whether that be like a small mindset shift or something physical we can do, or anything that you might feel compelled to invite us into for the just week ahead.
Sure. Well, we have a very simple 3-question meditation that I love to guide people through. And this is when I feel stuck, when I feel frustrated, when I feel like, why is this not going this way? I come out of the human and I move into alignment, coherent energy. And so these 3 questions changed my life. And really, in a way, I revisit them weekly and sometimes daily when I'm having tough days. And it's how I divert. I call it a departure point, actually, Kate. So when I'm in an expression of myself that I know isn't my highest, I'll say, okay, cancel, cancel, depart. And so I cancel the energy I just said out there or the
Yeah.
words I just said that I didn't mean.
Yeah.
And then I create a departure point and I go realign myself. So sometimes my kids
Wow.
will hear me say, Mommy needs to go meditate. And I go upstairs and I walk into these 3 questions because what I'm frustrated with in that moment is because I'm not experiencing what I want to be experiencing.
Yeah.
And so I asked this question. So let's just dive into it. Question number 1, and I sometimes I interlace my hands and I place it on my heart or place it on your belly or your thighs, whatever feels like you're just needing to connect and embody, just being fully present. And the first question I ask is, I say my name to myself and I'll say, Carrie, or you please say your name and say, what is it that you want in this moment? What is it that you want? And this can be an in this moment question. And it also can be a, what do you want in life? Like, what do you want? And you might not go, well, I don't know what I want, Carrie. I don't know if I want a husband, a job, and this and that. No, like, what do you want to experience? It's not the physical, actually. It's actually the emotions that you want to experience. It's actually what you want.
Yes.
So what do you want? And most people will say like freedom, abundance, joy, love, right? So I just want you to ask yourself that question. What do I want? Start to visualize it. Start to go there in your mind. If it's running and freely playing with your kids on the beach, if it's not having to check the bank account, if it's feeling unlimited joy, if it's feeling held and loved, what is it that you want? And then question number 2, why do I want it? This is super important that you understand why. Why do I want all of this? What does it do? What do I get out of having all of this? What do I experience? What do I embody? What do I embrace? How do I show up? Why do I want this? Once you've answered that question, we'll go into question number 3, and this is the final one. I don't want you to answer this logically with words. I want you to go there. I want you to embrace it, feel it, see it, wear the clothes, all the things. And the last question is you step into it. What if I had it? Like right now, what if I had everything I want? Everything. What if I had it? And feel it in your body. Feel it with every single cell. All the love, all the joy, all of the abundance, all of the support, all of the connection. Just soak up every ounce of what this feels like. You want to encapsulate this vibration in your being. Draw a soft smile on your face if it's not there already. Most of the time, I never have to cue that. People are
Yeah.
already smiling because they just feel so light. And then I invite you back into the space. Just open your eyes and come back in. And notice how you feel. You just had a complete energy upgrade in 3 questions. And it's really about your dominant frequency that creates your dominant reality. So these 3 questions changed my life in the macro view. For those of you that don't know me, I went from bankruptcy to a multimillion dollar business. And I went from bankruptcy and illness to vibrancy, wellness, and wealth. And never in my life was that in my blueprint. It was not, the cards were not laid out for me for that. And so you are capable of achieving vitality. You are capable of being well and being wealthy. And it's all about you knowing and having faith and hope and trusting that this is all part of your divine design. You just have to become that frequency and embody it day in and day out.
Wow, that's so powerful. You're such a gift. I realized after when you were talking earlier about sound and therapy, I feel like I was honestly like seeing in my mind's like experiencing you. It's gonna sound weird, but I'm just gonna say it. Like this like beaming, like expansive blue light, just expanding and beaming. And I don't know, just wanted to share that. But
I
you're a gift. You're a gift to the world. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you so much. Thank you.
I love you too. And it's not weird that you said that. I do feel this like we have such a huge light, right? Like we do. You can see when people's eyes are dull and they're experiencing sadness, and you can see when they're glistening, right? We talk about this in iridology and how the like, do you see that sparkle of their soul? And we have this light, this auric field around us that we can't see, but we can see in a way that we can feel. So
Yep.
I don't think it's weird. I think you're just seeing a larger part of my energy body.
Yeah. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
I love you. Appreciate you. Ah, isn't she just amazing? So, so good. So, I just wanted to touch base. If you feel called at all to learn more about the work of Carrie Drinkwine or Institute of Regenerative Health, there will be just one more in 2025, and the first class is April 26th. So, if any part of you feels called, I highly recommend checking it out and at least checking out her work at carriedrinkwine.com or the Institute of Regenerative Health.com. You can also find Carrie at Carrie Drinkwine on Instagram. So much love to you. Here is to thriving and healing and restoring from the inside out and spreading that healing goodness out through our heart more and more today and in the days ahead.